Everybody. We are coming to you from different locations today. Well, actually, I'm not. Just Fran is. Fran is up in Springfield, Illinois, at our Capitol there, and she is helping to raise awareness for families who are separated by the quarantine due to the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. And so she and I don't know how many other people we may get to see the group or maybe not are at our Capitol trying to raise that awareness so that those that are in quarantine and have not been able to hug their loved ones or even see their loved ones except through glass windows or doors. Some people haven't even had that opportunity depending on the place that they live. So we're going to be a little bit different today. We're still here though. So we appreciate you joining us. So Fran, tell us what's been going on in your day so far.
Oh my goodness gracious. You know, the best laid plans of mice and men, isn't that something people say? Yeah, I don't even know if there was a plan, but it sure has been an interesting day. So I apologize if I have chipmunks running through. It's a beautiful day out. We've met with some state representatives. We have people from Texas and Chicago area and everywhere in between. Here, we only had, I think, a total of maybe a couple handfuls of people. Some have left already. I'm going to head over there in just a second and just show you it. But is it okay? I'll slow down. Sorry. You know, it's been 192 days since I've been able to hug my son. That's too long. And it's even been longer for some of these people to be with their children, their parents. So what we're trying to do is just raise awareness, and we just really would like to speak with the people, officials in the government, just to all be on the same page. And we're part of a group, Caregivers for Compromise. We want to get essential caregivers into long-term care facilities. We're not asking to open the doors for the entire world to be visitors, and we would follow the exact same guidelines as the staff. Because care is essential, not just the physical care, the psychological, the social well-being. People, we talked about it the other day, touch starvation, and people are dying of failure to thrive. Those are things you talk about with infants in an orphanage in a country that has no resources. Right. And we are supposedly in a place where we have lots of resources. So we're trying today to raise awareness to touch into those resources. So if you want to come along with me, I'm in my power chair today, and I apologize if you get a little sick. And oh, did you know the state capitol is not handicap accessible? It's really kind of frustrating. I just thought I'd tell you that. The only way to get where we are by a Lincoln statue is for me to go across the grass. So you get to join me as we go across the grass. So that's another topic, another day, Shelley, is to talk about what truly means ADA accessible things. So, all right, I'm going to spin this. I'm going to try to turn my camera so you guys will be seeing something else in a second. Their camera. All righty. All right, can you all see that? Everybody wave. Do you want to get your signs? These are all people who have loved ones. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, okay, these are all people that have loved ones from very far. They haven't seen them for ages. They want to be with them. They want to, they just want to love them and do what is necessary for their well-being.
Right.
These aren't people that haven't been in their lives. Do y'all want to say anything? We're on Facebook Live with my friend Shelley.
Hi, Shelley. Hi.
Hello.
So, do you want to ask him anything, Shelley?
So what's the longest that anybody has gone? You said there's some, or at least
what's the longest anybody has gone from not seeing your loved one? So that was 118 days in a doctor's office, no hugs or kisses.
Wow.
we've been able to take my mom out for like doctor's visits, but.
And they can take they were saying they can take their mom out for doctor's visits, but that's it.
Although the last doctor visit, they said that enough is enough, and we're going to want the doctors to do. Yeah, they want to do. Yeah. So they called the doctor said no. I want my patient here.
So what they're telling them now is they're trying to dictate how they care for their loved ones and make them do it via virtual. But thankfully, the doctor stood up and said he wanted to see his patients in person.
Oh wow!
So,
yeah. See, I didn't even think about like doctor's visits and doctor's appointments. So
yeah,
are
the
they?
No, I mean they're getting tired of this too. I mean, think of all their patients. They know it. You know.
So the doctors are getting tired too.
When the doctor
Right.
walked into the exam room, my mom was crying.
Did you hear what she said?
Uh-uh.
When the doctor walked into the exam room, her mom was just crying because she's so isolated. And one of the things is, Peggy says isolation kills. They're dying.
And even like I told Fran, the last time I took Lynn to a doctor, he told our neurologist, I'm not allowed to hug anybody, and even the staff isn't allowed to hug me anymore. He's like, he was upset telling her he misses being hugged.
So it's the hugging. Thank you guys. I'm gonna take you over in front of everybody else, Shelly.
Okay. So Fran, you are there because of it's relating to your child.
My child, who is right here.
Oh, okay.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. That is the sign. This is Luke. And then can you see the sign above? My mom made this one. Grandma wants to hug Luke. And another lady, she was here earlier. She made this one.
Oh, okay. Our loved ones need us. Yeah, absolutely.
And we want to be, it's essential caregivers because we're essential. Okay, this is a sign I made. Well, with help, obviously, it has numbers in it. But
192 days apart is too long. Yes, it is.
And then this is our banner. Can you see that?
Yep. It says caregivers for compromise. It can't.
Families caring for their loved ones in long-term care are essential.
Yes. I think that's very true.
Okay, and then I apologize if you guys are getting sick. Then rescuing the isolated. These are my mom, who is Luke's grandma, and a special friend that knows Luke as well that wanted to come support.
Oh, that's awesome. Hi, guys.
You're on Facebook Live. Shelly's saying hi. And can you read that sign, Shelly?
I am a disabled prisoner because of IDPH's long-term care.
I don't get to see very often.
Yeah.
And
Hold on. I'll be back. I'll be right back.
Gabby, Ariel, hi, and Fran.
My mom thought we were on regular Facebook Live, but so I'll come back to him. Okay, and then here's my daughter and niece who came up to support people. So
that's awesome.
So I'm gonna flip you back around. So
okay.
But this is my view down the hill, and this is the view up the hill.
Oh, there's the Capitol building.
There's the Capitol building, and there's Lincoln.
We're gonna go by the waterfront.
Okay. So let me spin you around. I apologize.
So are you the only one there that is representing the fact that you have a child that you haven't seen, or have there been other
No,
parents?
Carrie, the one that was talking about Lynn, her son is one that was the one so she said quality over quantity sign, the one with the puppy dog.
Uh-huh.
That's her son.
Okay.
And he resides in the ICFDD.
Okay.
I'll be back.
So
my mom.
She wants to tell everybody.
Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna mute you for just a second, Shelly. Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to talk to everybody for a bit, and I'll be right back.
Sure.
Take this for the band.
Okay. So where Fran is right now, for anybody who's just joining us, she is in Springfield, Illinois at the Capitol, and she's trying to raise awareness with many other people. She said earlier that there were a couple of hundred people present, and most have disseminated at this point, but they're trying to raise awareness for the fact that there are loved ones that have been separated because of the quarantine due to the COVID-19, the coronavirus pandemic that we are experiencing. And many people are suffering physically and emotionally from not being able to hug their caregivers or touch their loved ones, that they've not really had any interaction with anybody outside of maybe one or two people this whole time. And they're not asking for everybody to open up and be available and to tear down all the guidelines and everything. They want to be safe. They want to protect themselves.
Yes.
They want to protect their loved ones. They want to protect the staff that are working with their loved ones, but they also want to see and be able to hug if that's appropriate, or just to talk to in person. It's very different when you are near someone and hearing their voice versus when you are away from them. I mean, the example that I'm about to give is completely different. But I can remember when my husband and I lived in England, and we would talk on the phone with our family back here in the United States. And this isn't the same, but in sort of a fashion it is, because we couldn't see them, we couldn't hug them, but we had the option to, and not having that option does something mentally to both sides. Both the caregiver in isolation and the caregiver, the loved one outside of isolation. So this was just today, right? You drove up there today?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're all leaving. So now it's just our clan and my friend here.
Okay. So tell me, I thought last week when we talked, you said you were going to have the opportunity to at least be on a Zoom call.
We were hoping. Okay, we did have a Zoom call prior this week, and we met there were state representatives, and there was a state senator, and some ombudsmen who represent residents in long-term care. There was a reporter and an attorney. We had, I think the number was 36 people on the Zoom call.
Wow.
So that was like huge for us. That was the most we've ever had.
Yeah, that's a big Zoom call.
And so we're this group, it's on Facebook. May I say it or not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. It's Illinois Caregivers for Compromise, because isolation kills too. So I don't know if you're able to look it up and share that page or anything, Shelley. I'm on my phone. I don't have all my monitors and keyboards, so I'm kind of limited in what I'm used to doing and what I can do.
Is it just on Facebook, or do they have a website too?
It's just on Facebook.
All right. So then I'm going to do this a little different. Let me go to Facebook first and then search, because I was just searching on the internet. So no, that's not the right spot.
So I'm going to we're going to go on an adventure.
Okay.
Of the Capitol grounds, because we might as well make this educational while we're at it.
Sure.
Because, like I was saying, it's not really accessible, so we're going all-terrain.
Right.
And I'm really grateful. God is good to have given me an all-terrain vehicle-type wheelchair.
Right. And you would think a government/tourist building would need to be handicap accessible. However,
yes.
I know that ADA has, at least in the past, and I honestly haven't checked into the ADA law in a long time, you had to have a certain number of employees in the facility in order to have the accessible ramps or entrances.
I wanted you to see this bell. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Whoop, I guess I need to turn it. Ah! Sorry. Let me get my nugget out of there. There you go.
Yes. So what is that bell symbolizing?
Well, I believe this is their replica of the bell from, our Independence Bell.
Oh,
Okay, here it is.
okay.
Pass and go. I don't know. It's hard to read it. Let me see if I can find a little plaque. That might be better. State of House in Philadelphia. But yeah, this is from, like, I guess a replica
Okay. Of like our Liberty
of
Bell.
the one, our Liberty
yeah.
Bell.
Yeah.
Except it says the land. Yeah, it does. It says Pennsylvania. So I guess it's just a replica.
All right. So here
So
is the Facebook page, Illinois Caregivers for Compromise, because isolation kills too. So how does somebody who lives in Illinois join this group? Is there
it's just you can just click join.
Okay. So it is
somewhere,
just
and it's an open join. No one admits you. Once you click, you're part of the group. There's
that. Okay.
not locked down. It's a public group. What we're really asking is just people. Everyone's got to know somebody that's locked up somewhere.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And I hate to say locked up, because that's the truth. And part of the frustration, I think, one of the ladies says, "Okay, prisoners got out because it was unsafe, and if these masks work, then why weren't they just given masks?" And my loved one is now literally locked up, and as those ladies were talking about, they're trying to dictate everything they're doing. So, there's got to be a happy medium somewhere. That's what I keep thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
And so is this looks like a bumper sticker. Is that something, do you guys have?
No, that's
stickers?
actually the banner. That's the
Oh, okay.
banner I
That
had
you
made
showed
for
me.
today. But I believe we're going to try to make magnets, and we're also going to be doing shirts.
Okay.
Hold on. The design is in the back of my wheelchair. For the shirt. I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the sun. I'm learning to do things on my phone, so I apologize, everyone.
Not a problem. Need to see. Okay.
All right. Can you see that?
Oh yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Family caregivers are essential in long-term care. It's so true. I mean, it really is. It's just unfortunately one of those things that people probably haven't, legislators haven't really thought about. So I'm really proud of you for,
I'm sorry, I flipped it around.
No, I was trying to, go to a different picture, and like, here's another one. I don't know if it'll show up. So there are some places that are making, I guess, I don't know, would it be exceptions to the rule?
Well, and that's part of the problem. There's no standardized. It's even like in education, most things are standardized.
Right.
When you call something, an IEP is an IEP.
Right.
But but the rights of the individuals are being bypassed right now. One of the rights is that they have a right for visits, but they're saying because of COVID, those rights no longer exist.
So
their basic human rights are being violated right now.
Right.
So yeah.
Well,
I don't know. It's just kind of random.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that you were able to find this organization. Whoa, I just lost Fran. Okay. Well, hopefully she'll be able to jump back on. But in case you're just joining the broadcast, she is in Springfield, Illinois today, advocating for the right to see her son and for others to see their loved ones who are in long-term care facilities or and she gave the initials at the beginning, or not the beginning, but earlier, of the type of facility that some other people are in, and I forget exactly what it was called. It was initials. I can't remember them, but anyway, it was like a group home. She has not seen her son in 192 days. She has not. Well, I shouldn't say she hasn't seen him. She has not been able to hug him or touch him. There, she's back.
I don't know what happened. I apologize.
That's okay. I was just catching up any viewers to, what was happening. And just kind of going over the fact that this group of people isn't asking for all the restrictions to be taken down. They're not asking for extra things that will put lots of people in jeopardy. They are asking and trying to bring awareness to the fact that we need human contact.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people in long-term care facilities are not getting that. And we are now in a situation where many people are having physical sickness.
Yes.
And probably even passing away because of not having that interaction with someone.
If you check into that Facebook page of people, there's all kinds of there was a study, I think, in Arizona where there's so many more people have died of dementia that should above and beyond that should have. Not related to COVID, because it's accelerating death. Isolation is accelerating death.
Right.
For lack of a better way to say it.
Yeah. And somebody might be going, oh, that's not happening, or that seems pretty harsh, or, but that's the reality. I mean, I know personally, and I think Fran knows the family too, that they adopted a little girl from Russia. And when she was adopted, she had been put in a crib when she got to the adoption age.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. And, when the family brought her back to the United States, it took a long time for that infant to understand that physical touch was a good and a loving thing. And that's what we're finding now with our loved ones who are in long-term care facilities during this pandemic, that they're not getting that physical touch, and they're starting to deteriorate. This family that adopted this young girl from Russia, she's very small in stature now because she didn't get not only some nutrients, but she also didn't get that physical touch and interaction. And I don't know if she was considered failure to thrive or not, but failure to thrive just means exactly what it sounds like. You're not growing, you're not developing, you're not living. To an extent, I mean, you're barely, I mean, typically they say this with, small children, well, they're barely maintaining their weight. And they're considered failure to thrive. But with adults, which is who we're talking about right now, it's just a matter of, it's more mental health in failure to thrive, just being able to, keep their minds activated, sitting in front of a television all day, or some of them don't even have televisions in their rooms. And many of these residents in these places are not even allowed to leave their room. Is that correct?
No.
Fran?
Yes, they are in their room nonstop. They eat in their room. Some people haven't even been able to have showers. A lady said they're just getting bed baths since all this lockdown happened since March. Can you imagine not having a shower since March?
Oh my gosh. Wow. No.
Basic needs. We're not, and that's all we're advocating for, is that we be allowed to help out with basic needs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something, so what we've started talking about, and I think sort of where we have been focusing this whole time today, is on people who are, prior to being in this long-term care facility, were functioning, abled people who, had a good understanding of what was going on around them and everything. and probably were able to understand a little bit of the complexities of the pandemic and why it's necessary to, get all of these restrictions put on them. But does your son, do you feel, have a grasp really of what is happening and why it is important to follow the rules that his place has in place for him? Or do you think he's not understanding and he just is really struggling with that on top of everything else?
Yeah. I couldn't hear the last thing you said. I apologize.
That's okay. I mean, do you think that Luke is struggling with understanding why he can't?
Oh my goodness gracious, yes. He's very much struggling. Yeah, he eloped 3 times.
Right. So for anyone who doesn't understand, when she said he eloped, he didn't go off and get married, but he left his facility. He tried to make it home because he has not seen her or his sister in so long that he wanted to get home. And he managed to get home one time. And the second time he got almost home, and someone that knew him saw him, and did they pick him up, or what happened exactly?
I asked them to take him to my house again.
Okay.
Because that way he would be safe till I could find out what the plan was, so that he didn't go on another grand adventure, for lack of a better word.
Right.
So the government said that Luke could not go home, but Luke figured it out and he made it home.
Yeah.
He made it work.
Yeah.
He's a problem solver and he figured it out. So.
And, kudos to him, someone who doesn't drive, but knew how to get from the town where he lives currently to the town and to exactly your house.
Well, he was actually in the same town due to some other circumstances that day, but well,
that makes
but he made it, yes. But it was an adventure he was on. But and I think part of it, I'd like to touch on this. It's kind of like a chipmunk. Sorry, it's going to run through, but I would like everyone to really, if you're listening on this, or you know of somebody, and so often I've seen this on these pages, well-meaning people, and they probably don't mean it, but it's how we say things, and it also, this ties into also anybody. Think it before you say it. So many people have been saying, well, if you really loved them, you just take them home.
Oh.
These are your loved ones. They deserve better than that. Get them out of there. Another comment I read the other, and these weren't ones comments. Well, I've had a couple comments to me, but these were comments I'd seen somewhere else. Another comment was, it was I believe someone's administrator told them, well, if you think we were doing such a terrible job, just take them home if you really love them.
Wow.
Think those words through, and that goes back to even what you and I were talking about the other time. Remember, our well-being, our mental health, our well-being.
Right.
Our words have the power to build or the power to destroy.
Right.
And so often we post on social media without the thought of what those words are really doing to people. And so I'm not sure if you're familiar with, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get out of the sun so I can see you better. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Man of La Mancha, the musical.
Oh, a little, not, I mean.
Okay, well, he tilted windmills. Think about that. That's kind of a losing battle, no matter how you look about it. That's just kind of, that was the gist of Man of La Mancha. But
Okay.
I feel like I'm tilting windmills these days. But I feel like my job right now is to educate people, because together, our voices united, the more voices we could get, we'll roar and we're going to be heard. But individual voices, are just like a squeak or a whisper. Right. And so I could attack these people that are saying those things that I mentioned previously, or I'm trying to educate them. So I feel like it's kind of like tilting windmills right now because it's not always received. I was told by one person, "You have no right to tell somebody that," and I said, "Okay." Um, I just wanted to educate you and let you in, and maybe see if you wanted to join in, and see it maybe from a different side.
So it
But
said that you had no right to say what?
to say, please don't say that.
Oh,
Please don't say. Just tell someone. Sorry, it's probably getting windy. Let me see if I can get
that's
where
okay.
the wind won't. Is the wind that's too loud through the
No, I mean,
microphone?
as long as you're talking, it seems to overpower the wind. So it,
Okay. So, um, okay. So I had responded with, please don't say that. That's very hurtful. Um, and someone responded back to me, um, they can say what they want. You have no right to say that. And my response back was, yeah, my response back was, well, there are people that love their loved ones, but they cannot, and I put that in caps, care for them safely in their own homes.
right,
So they don't have that choice. So those words are very hurtful to them. I said that would be like telling somebody, and I didn't say that I am in a wheelchair when I said this next statement, but I said that would be like telling somebody in a wheelchair, well, just get up and walk.
right,
If you really if you want to walk, just get up and walk. And um, it's the same statement as you're telling these people, we'll just take your loved one home.
right,
And so that was that conversation. But then I went back and I to the other person, and I felt I owed them a comment, the one I had originally said, please don't say that. And I explained further that what I meant, and I said, just join us. That's where I started the educational, and I've decided I can't do every post, and it wears you down. But occasionally, when I feel like God's poking me, I try to share a little bit of truth, and
right.
maybe spread the word. Because I'm really blessed, really, with I miss Luke. Don't get me wrong, I miss him so badly. I want to hold him. I want to hug him. I want to be with him. But some people, um, they've only seen their loved one through glass, and their loved one was even turned in the bed the wrong direction and couldn't hear them because they're hard of hearing. And you're talking through glass. Have you ever tried to talk to somebody through glass?
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's not easy, especially, and I mean, and that's when you're both looking at each other.
Right,
Imagine if your loved one cannot turn themselves over, so they're faced the wrong direction.
right,
And so you're left standing in the hot sun outside of a facility, peering through, going, I love you, and
right,
hoping they understand that you love them, even though you're not there with them. They feel so abandoned and lost.
right. Yeah,
Um, so, like I say, in reality, I, I'm blessed. I get to see my son in a randomly weird drive through way through the car and the sidewalk and in my van. But um, so I'm doing this for not just my son, I'm doing it for everyone.
right.
And that's why I say all of us have been touched in some way. And if you could just reach out to those, there's all kinds of contacts and links on that page that
That
and
Facebook page. Okay.
yeah, and just shoot off to somebody on there. Say, hey, get in touch, because decisions are being made and families aren't being consulted. Nobody's been consulted. And what we're trying to do, and this all started with a grassroots effort in Florida. Mary Daniels. Oh, I'm going to say the names wrong. I'm sorry. I'm horrible at names.
That's okay.
But she got a job in her husband's facility where he lived so that she could see him.
Wow.
She works a regular job, but she got another job so that she could see him. but she started this Caregivers for Compromise, and now there's a page for each state. Each state has their own page, and people are trying to unite and just draw together. Um, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know, but there's got to be some compromise, something somewhere to. These are people that have contributed to society.
Right.
A lot of them. I mean, some people may have been like Luke. They've lived in that have not contributed in the way society might think is a contribution, but they contribute. But I mean, we're talking the gamut. So, and there's also children, young children, like my niece's age, who you saw previously, that are in facilities, and these parents haven't seen them. Can you imagine not seeing your grade school age child?
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's so everyone is affected. And I'm not saying COVID isn't real. Please don't get me wrong. We all were wearing masks here. We were abiding by what is being asked and what they're saying the best practices are at this time.
Right.
But I don't know. All I know is I spend a lot of time on my knees just seeking, praying to God and asking His will be done, and asking Him to put the right people in the right places. And I don't know if I'm in the right place right now, but I feel like I'm trying to do my part. And each of us can do our part. And I think it's also, as I'm trying to tie this all in, I'm just thinking we each have a role in life, in society, to do a part of something. Whether it's to advocate for our loved one in the school system, to advocate for a loved one in life.
Yeah.
For a friend.
Yeah.
You know, to be a friend to our fellow person.
Yeah. And it is. I mean, I know that, our theme is special education for the most part, but this ties into special education because, like you said, there are kids, that maybe have to, be in a facility because of severe behaviors or because of severe medical needs or, but they're still someone's child. They're still loved by someone outside of the facility that they're in. I'm thinking of examples in my head of people that I've known that, it is not an easy decision to take your child out of your own home, to acknowledge as a parent that you cannot give your child everything that they need, or that it is no longer safe for your child to live in your home, and to agree to move that child into a facility.
Right.
Honestly, I feel that takes more love, or maybe love on a different level, because
it's called agape love.
Because you truly are looking at what is best for the other individual. And you are setting your own pride aside in essence, and saying, acknowledging, accepting, I can't do this by myself, or we can't do this because we don't have what he needs. You can have all the love in the world and not be able to provide what the person needs. So that goes back to where you were saying, think about when you're talking to a loved one who has, you're talking to a caregiver who has a loved one in a facility of some sort. Think about that. It wasn't like they just said, oh, it'll be easier on me if my child doesn't live here, or it'll be easier on me if my parent doesn't live with me. or doesn't live at home by themselves, and I put them in this, we agree to put them in this facility. Those are not easy decisions to make. Thankfully, I have not been personally in that decision-making process, but I have seen countless people go through the agonization of trying to be able to get to that spot in their own mind, not in a physical place.
Yeah, right. Hey, I'm gonna mute you for just a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. So
We think we're all
there. Okay. So thank you for joining us today. We are going to be wrapping up definitely within the next 18 or 19 minutes, but possibly even sooner. But no matter where you live in the country, Fran just mentioned a little bit ago that there are these caregivers for compromised groups in every state, and every state has an organization, has a Facebook page. So look your state up if this is something that you want to be a part of, trying to bring the awareness to those who are making the decisions, how important it is to have the caregivers. I mean, she just told us a story of a woman, I think she said she lived in Florida, who, because she wanted to be close to her loved one, applied for and was able to get a job in the facility where I think she said it was her husband was living. Now, think about that. Here's a wife who, had lived with husband and wife for however long before he needed to be placed in this facility. She had no more access to him as a wife than she had.
Her name was Mary Daniels.
Okay. She had less access to him as a wife than she did as an employee of the facility. Now,
okay, and you're going to see how horrible this is to even get around this facility, by the way. Just to get where the handicap parking is. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. That's just mind-blowing to me that they would let a stranger, I mean, if this woman hadn't happened to be married to someone in the facility and they needed to fill that position, they were going to let someone else come in, and that person would be acceptable to be around people in the facility. But this woman wasn't allowed, even though she had a spouse in there.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to put a mask on because I'm supposed to have a mask while I'm on the ground. I apologize.
That's okay.
So can you do that?
There have been lots of things that have been difficult to accept when it has come to the requirements across the different states and within different areas of those states as far as what needs to happen. Is it really a need to happen, or is there some way that can be something can be done differently? I mean, I'm still really stuck on the fact that this woman had a spouse in the facility that she couldn't see, but then she was able to get a job at the facility, and then suddenly she was okay because she worked there.
Exactly.
That is baffling to me.
Okay, I'm going to go all terrain here rather than go up and down.
Okay.
Because I literally had to go up and down and around, but I'm just going, oh
Maybe.
my gosh. Maybe. Holy cow. That hurt my back. Sorry. Whew. Okay, take my breath away.
So this is, just one more thing. I mean, that her being in a non-accessible area and being in a wheelchair is, just another thing that ties into special needs. It doesn't have to be special education. It's a special need. And you would think, again, that tourist areas, even though they probably don't have the number necessary for ADA that requires, the handicap accessibility ramps and sidewalks and that sort of thing, you would still think a tourist area would have to have that stuff.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting. Okay, so where I showed you where everyone was sitting, that's Lincoln's statue, right?
Right.
you would think everybody would want a picture with Lincoln's statue.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
And there were steps.
I could not get to Lincoln's statue unless I went all terrain. If I was with my walker or my manual wheelchair, I would not have been able to be with anybody today.
Right.
Because I could not physically do it.
Right. That's crazy to me.
So, so maybe that's another topic for another day. I don't know. It's my heart, and it makes me sad that I always thought I was an advocate for those who didn't know or about people who happen to have different abilities.
Mm-hmm.
But I was wrong. I missed the boat on so many things. I'm realizing now compared to, or I thought I got it half wrong, or half right, or half something. How's that? It was half. It wasn't whole.
Well,
okay. Do you see how far I had to go? I'm now at my vehicle finally.
Wow. Yeah. And I don't know that you had anything wrong as much as you don't know. We don't know everything. It's impossible to know every nuance of every circumstance of every situation. And, that's, I feel, one of the reasons why we do the Fridays with Fran. And it's definitely why I do the hashtag No Limits on Tuesday, is to show people things that they might not be aware of. This is definitely something that I was not aware of, what you're doing today. If you mentioned it to me last week, I wouldn't have really thought about it.
I'm trying to get my keys out while we talk.
I like to think, and I like to try to get other people to think, so that we aren't just stuck in our own little world all the time. And so I'm hoping that people who watch this, that's why they watch, is so they can get a different perspective. Maybe they can, between what you're going through and what I talked about, can feel like they're not alone, whatever it is that they're facing or dealing with. But yeah. I don't know if that's why people watch.
I don't know. I hope that we can touch somebody. And you know what I really was been thinking about, Shelley? There just seems like there's no hope these days, and just in general.
Yeah.
These people, here's the back of the Capitol building, by the way.
Looks pretty much
that's
like
where I'm parked.
Yeah,
it looks like the front, but that's literally where I had to park.
Yeah.
That our loved one, that there is hope. There's hope, and don't give up.
Yes.
You just ask for help. Don't think you're alone. Please, please. That's my whole thing today. Even just talking to these caregivers or people that want to be caregivers, the ones that have loved ones. Some of them are so tired because they feel so alone right now.
Yeah.
And so by being able to get together, we realized we weren't alone because we're all going through it together. Oops, I just dropped something. So, hey, my friend, I'm going to have to tie it up because apparently they're ready to go, and they sent me to the car. So I'm supposed to drive around and pick them all up and load up from the front.
Oh, how nice. They made you go all the way to the car. They get to be valet.
Well, I have to load my chair, so and the only place to load my chair is back here.
Got it.
The only place.
Yeah. All right. Well,
so it has been a blessing.
I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud of what you're doing. And thank you for bringing this awareness to me and anyone who has watched this today, because this is definitely something that I really had not thought about. So thank you for that. So
and thank you for the time.
Yep, absolutely. I'm going to let you jump off. I'm going to wrap up.
Okay. Let's wrap up
and all that stuff.
Okay. I don't know how. I guess I just hit leave. All right. I'm going to leave. But you know what, everyone? I thank you for allowing this Friday with Fran to be so random and going with us with it. and allowing me to share something from my heart. That means the world to me. And if you ever want to talk about something else, throw it in our comments, by the way,
Yes,
and we're
please.
more than willing to jump on it, because as you can tell, Shelly and I are willing to tackle anything, because we're not tackling it on our own. We're tackling it with God.
Amen.
All right. Take care, guys. Sorry, I'll let you tie it up.
Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right. So join me Tuesday, the 29th of September, 1 o'clock Central Time. I will be doing #NoLimits with Holly. Holly is a entrepreneur. She's a wife. She's a mom. She is also someone who has had a husband, a veteran of the United States Navy. He has been deployed several times. And so she's had to figure out how to become mom and dad for 2 children and a few dogs over the years, and maybe some other animals, I'm not sure, and how to maneuver different school districts in the military. They moved several times. I don't know exactly how many times. She will tell us that on Tuesday. So you definitely want to join in. If, as Fran said, you have any topics that you would like for Fran and I to discuss, please drop us a note in the comment section, either here on Facebook or here on YouTube. If you're watching on either of those, please be sure to like the pages or subscribe if you're on YouTube. We'd love to know where you're at, what kinds of things you're dealing with. Next Friday, again, will be Friday with Fran, 1 o'clock Central Time. We don't have a topic yet. Sometimes we determine the topic 5 minutes before we go live, but there are so many things to talk about, especially when it comes to special education. And we do want to cover things that you are interested in. So I think that's it for me for today. And for Fran, thank you all. God bless you all and have a wonderful week.